Hello, brothers and sisters. Thanks for joining me again. Hey, today I think I'm going to do a few stories on America. It's been a little while. I've been mostly focusing on the UK since I stopped working on Charlie Kirk type stuff. And I'll get back to the UK, but there's a lot going on in America right now. And if you didn't know, Trump is not messing around with all this deportation stuff. He's decided that if you're in America illegally, he's going to deport you. So you should leave now on your own, and then maybe you can get a chance to come back legally, or he's going to make you leave. Well, he's finally got around to going into really heavily democratic cities where the government likes all the illegal aliens and doesn't want them gone in those cities. And Trump's not having any of it. So he's actually sending in the National Guard in Portland, Oregon, and in Chicago, Illinois, because he can't get the police to help them. The police are actually actively helping Antifa and the other groups against them. So Trump has asked the National Guard to go in order to provide security for these efforts that the Border Patrol and ICE and these other groups are doing in apprehending these guys, because there's just so many people interfering. There was a judge in Oregon put a 14-day hold on it and said, no, you can't deploy troops. We need to review that and make sure that that's legal. Which this is an interesting thing here because he is the commander-in-chief, so I think he can, but he's probably going to have to fight all the way to the Supreme Court or ignore her order. And I haven't seen yet if he's going to ignore her order. So far, he hasn't. So far, he's complied with all the judge's orders and then fought them. And then once he won in court, he went ahead and did what he wanted. And he's winning almost all of these because he actually does have the authority under law to do this, but the judge keeps saying he doesn't until it gets to the Supreme Court or sometimes an appeals court and gets reversed. If this judge thinks that extra security is not needed, that's one of the things she said. She said she wasn't sure that the local authorities couldn't just handle this, and so there was no need to send in the military. And if the military went in, she wasn't clear if they really had authority in there, and she wanted to look at all that. Well, let's look what happened in Chicago area just, I think, yesterday. Federal agents ambushed in Chicago area in coordinated attack of domestic terrorism. Armed suspect shot, local police flee. Wow. An armed suspect was shot and local police fled? Local police all have guns. Why would they flee? Let's see more. Here's a picture. There's somebody with one of their Palestinian flags right in front of, this is going to be the ICE facility. And for the people in the UK, ICE stands for Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They're one of the major players on deporting illegals from the country. And Trump has made it clear, no tolerance for illegals. If he catches an illegal, we're going to deport you for any reason. Now, he has said they're going to try to concentrate on the criminal illegals first and the ones who have final deportation orders first. But if he happens to catch anyone illegal, he's going to throw them out. Oh, and by the way, I prefer to use the term illegal alien because that is the actual real term. All this George Orwell doublespeak that liberals have been doing for years by changing the language, I'm not going to play that game. The law still calls them illegal aliens. What Biden did in the U.S., just so people know, is he ordered all the lawyers and all the bureaucracy of the federal government to stop using that term and start calling them migrants or illegal migrants or undocumented workers or some of these other words. Because, illegal alien is an old term and it's racist, right? Or that's what the liberals would have you say. No, I'm going to call a spade a spade. There are illegal aliens. The law calls them illegal aliens. It has been that way up until about the last 10 years. They decided that liberals figured out how to use doublespeak and, it's just migrants. No, it's illegal aliens. Rant off. Let's move on. So this story's from October 5th. That's today. Federal agents were ambushed and boxed in by 10 vehicles during a routine patrol in Broadview, Chicago, in what officials are calling a coordinated act of domestic terrorism. One armed suspect previously flagged for inciting violence against law enforcement online was shot after ramming a patrol car and confronting officers with a semi-automatic weapon. It's probably a handgun. But just for folks in the UK, just so you know, don't ram law enforcement vehicles in America. If they think you're doing that on purpose, they will shoot you. That's considered using lethal force against a law enforcement officer. They will shoot you for that and not think twice. So don't intentionally ram a police vehicle. This left-wing Antifa lunatic should have known that. Department of Homeland Security Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin reported that federal enforcement officers and agents were boxed in and rammed by a group of 10 vehicles in the Chicago area suburb of Broadview. One of the women was armed with a semi-automatic firearm. McLaughlin said agents fired on an armed woman. She was later transported to an area hospital for treatment of her wounds. And so some people might say at this point, but I thought you're allowed to have guns in America. What about the Second Amendment? You are. You're allowed to have guns on you for any lawful purpose. No problem. But if you have a gun on you and you've just rammed your car into a law enforcement vehicle and they see that gun, they have to assume you're attacking them. And it is not lawful to ram your car into them or point a weapon at them at the time. So I don't know the exact circumstances, but she's lucky she's not dead. Federal law enforcement officials were previously made aware of the woman after she threatened on social media, "Hey, all, my gang's gonna fuck those motherfuckers up. Don't let them take anyone." Okay? The secretary stated that the Chicago Police Department had fled the scene and refused to assist in securing the area. A crowd gathered, forcing ICE to deploy a special operations unit to maintain control. Someone released a radio dispatch call where federal law enforcement had asked for assistance because they were being attacked, and the police dispatcher ordered them to not assist and to leave the area. This might be the same one. I'm not sure. So again, this is why Trump has to send in the National Guard. If the police won't do their job for whatever reason, then the feds need to come in and use whatever force is necessary to do the job, as long as it's legal. And the Antifa and the people that are pro-migrant call this all kidnapping and illegal and all that. It's not. It's completely lawful. When Obama was president, he actually deported more people than Trump has so far. It's just people just don't like Trump. That's really what it is. If Trump wants to deport people, it must be bad, so we're gonna resist. Which is funny because they're resisting, but a majority of the people in America actually did vote for Trump and Trump's policies. So the people that are fighting against this, they say they're fighting for democracy. Democracy elected Trump. These people are all actual real insurrectionists. They are actually fighting against the U.S. government. He should charge some of these people with federal insurrection. They wanted to use the insurrection card during January 6th. Let's use it now. If people are actually obstructing ICE, that might be insurrection, especially when they have guns and they're doing it. It's unbelievable that the Chicago police would flee the scene. So Trump needs to come down hard on Chicago. White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller called the organized attack on the ICE agents domestic terrorism and seditious insurrection. I 100% agree, Stephen. Breaking, DHS announces federal agents in Broadview, Illinois were rammed and boxed in by 10 cars, including a woman armed with a semi-automatic gun who had posted online threats to fuck up ICE and was flagged in a CBP intel bulletin. DHS says feds fired on her defensively. And you're like, what do you mean defensively? Yeah, if somebody has a gun and you see it and they've just rammed you with their vehicle, you shoot them before they shoot you. I think that's 100% a defensive shooting. Sounds like a good shoot to me. No federal agents were seriously injured in the attack, McLaughlin noted. Yeah, see, the thing is, these people are all just lunatic, living in their basements with their moms. They're actually going out there and fighting ICE. A large number of ICE folks in previous jobs, they were trained soldiers. Antifa is a bunch of kids playing at radicals and attacking what amounts to real soldiers. Real soldiers actually shoot you when you attack them. It's crazy. So that was a quick story. I actually have some video here I want to show. I believe this is the same incident that we just read about, or it's being portrayed as. So let's watch this real quick. And again, you tell me if what ICE did here was appropriate. All right, so let me give you a little background here. Again, I believe this is the situation that we just read about. If you look up on the left, beside the blue car, there's a white pickup truck. I believe that is an ICE-marked vehicle with its emergency lights on. That's what's been described. Behind it is a gray SUV that belongs to a member of the public. The video looks like it was taken by a member of the public who was just driving in their car and happened to see this. So let's watch this and let me know what you think. Was this an appropriate response by ICE? Is this okay or no? You see what you think. Okay, somebody just rammed the back. You can see the lights flash, the emergency lights flashing. So this person keeps ramming the back of the ICE pickup truck. They're kind of blocked in, so the ICE truck is trying to get away. Looks like the person comes another ICE vehicle with lights flashing. They're the two up there. The ICE vehicle stopped. Agents get out. Person tries to get away. Second vehicle rams them. Second law enforcement vehicle. The ICE gets out. The person tries to drive off. This is real life, folks. This is Chicago yesterday. So somebody rammed a law enforcement vehicle and they got shot. These guys shot them. Or these agents reportedly shot her. And she's in the hospital now. Yeah, you notice these members of the public are backing up fast. We don't have any audio here, but I wouldn't mess with these guys right now. Adrenaline is kind of high. These guys don't look like the little girl police we see in the UK doing policing. You don't want to fight any one of these guys. These guys all look like they could fight. They're not messing around. Can't really see that. I'm sure they're rendering her aid now until the ambulance can get there to take her to the hospital, because it was reported she had a semi-automatic weapon. Now, we don't know. That could be a handgun. It could be a rifle. Doesn't matter. If you ram a law enforcement vehicle, like I said at the start, you can expect to be shot. They're going to shoot you. And it looked like she did try to flee after a while. They may have shot her before she was fleeing and she tried to get away and then stopped, or it could have been, they could have shot her while she was fleeing. We don't know. The details will come out later. But again, you don't want to get shot. Don't ram police vehicles with your vehicle, and certainly don't have a gun with you when you do it that they can see. That's how you get shot in America. How you don't get shot is just act like a normal human being. All right, that's what I think. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. Give me comments. But yeah, I think Trump does need the National Guard. These guys need more help with all this nonsense. Thanks. Bye.